3 a.m. Below the 30-foot wide deck, a Russian military convoy stretching half a mile long is crawling through the ice. This is a massive logistics haul. Hundreds of 152mm artillery shells, Grad rockets, thousands of gallons of diesel fuel, and heavy materials designated for the repair of the Crimea Bridge. But in the shadows beneath the bridge supports, a 15-pound FPV drone, a $650 weapon of necessity, skims the water's surface. The operation is being conducted by an anonymous Ukrainian drone unit hidden in the Kharkiv tree line 2 miles from the riverbank. They have been stalking this specific convoy since daybreak, waiting for the moment the Russian vehicles bottlenecked in the center of the narrow crossing. Putin recently negotiated a 1-week humanitarian ceasefire with Washington due to the record-breaking cold, and the Kremlin is currently distracted, rushing German drones to Tehran to bolster their allies against potential US and Israeli strikes. They believe the winter lull is a safe window to move critical supplies. The Ukrainian operators have a different philosophy. A lull is not a peace treaty, it is an opportunity for total vaporization. 3:01 a.m. A swarm of 24 decoy drones, each costing less than a smartphone, launches from 3 separate directions, executing a complex mirror pattern designed to overwhelm Russian sensors. To the automated tracking systems of the convoy, the sky suddenly appears filled with dozens of incoming threats, creating massive airspace chaos. While the Russian defense systems are forced to divide their processing power across 24 different vectors, the primary FP5 strike drone remains invisible. Hidden in the back of a camouflaged truck 2 miles away, the Ukrainian operator is sweating despite the minus 15-degree Fahrenheit temperature. His hands are steady as he guides the 15-pound primary drone through a high-speed manual approach. He isn't flying toward the convoy from the sky, he is skimming just 20 feet above the icy water, utilizing the massive iron trusses of the bridge as a physical and electromagnetic shield. The drone's camera feed vibrates violently as it fights through 30 miles per hour frozen gusts, the lens occasionally blurring from the mist rising off the river. By staying beneath the bridge's gantry, the operator is exploiting the multipath effect. The radar waves from the Russian defense systems are bouncing off the iron structure and the water simultaneously, creating so much ground clutter that the small drone disappears into the background noise. It is a high-speed game of surgical precision, weaving between the bridge supports at 90 miles per hour. The operator knows that a single clip of a rotor against the iron would end the mission, but the radar shadow under the bridge is his only path to the target. The decoys have successfully drawn the enemy's eyes upward, leaving the water-level approach wide open. 3:02 a.m. On the Ukrainian operator's screen, the red radar overlay pulses as the Pantsir achieves a hard lock on the first 4 decoys. The silence of the minus 15-degree night is shattered by the thunderous whoosh of 257 E-6 missiles. Accelerating to Mach 4 in seconds, they intercept 2 decoy drones, vaporizing them into expanding fireballs that plunge into the Seym River. The Pantsir switches to auto-track, its 30mm twin cannon slewing toward the next set of signatures. Near the middle of the convoy, a Tor M2 battery activates, launching a flurry of short-range interceptors that rip 4 more decoys into confetti. To the Russian commanders, it looks like a textbook defense. They are winning a battle against ghosts, while the real assassin remains submerged in radar clutter. But the real threat hasn't been neutralized. Russian infantry escorts, hearing the low-frequency hum of brushless motors echoing off the water, leaped from their heated truck cabs into the freezing minus 15-degree fog. They hit the asphalt with their PKM machine guns, spraying tracers into the darkness beneath the bridge deck. An RPG-7 gunner on a flatbed truck levels his tube, firing a fragmentation grenade toward the iron bridge supports. "Drone under the bridge, kill it!" he screams over the roar of the trucks and the wind. The soldiers unleash a wall of AK-12 and PKM fire toward the dark silhouette of the primary FP5 strike drone as it maneuvers through the iron trusses. The green tracers skip off the surface of the icy river, creating a lethal lattice of lead. These infantrymen know the stakes. They are sitting on top of thousands of tons of explosives and diesel fuel. If that single 15-pound projectile reaches the center of the convoy, the bridge and every man on it is finished. The operator in Kharkiv can see the muzzle flashes on his screen, his drone's camera vibrating as the shockwaves from the RPG rounds ripple through the sub-zero air. The race to the fuel trucks has officially become a gauntlet of fire. 03:03 a.m. The primary FPV drone is now less than 200 feet from the convoy's midsection, but the Russian defense systems are finally cutting through the clutter. The truck-mounted Pantsir S1 achieves a momentary radar lock as the drone clears an iron bridge support. A 57 E6 missile roars off the rail, but physics intervenes in favor of the attacker. As the missile closes in, the flat, icy surface of the river and the iron bridge railings create a massive multipath interference effect. The radar waves bounce so violently between the water and the metal structure that the Pantsir's fire control computer sees two identical targets, the drone and its own reflection. The missile detonates 50 feet wide, the shockwave rocking the 15-pound drone but failing to shred its composite frame. But the Russian defense net is layered for a reason. The Tor M2 battery positioned in the center of the convoy doesn't rely solely on radar. Its optical tracking system locks onto the drone's heat signature against the frozen -15-degree background. It launches a second short-range interceptor. The missile streaks toward the FPV drone, its proximity fuse triggering just 15 feet away. A cloud of tungsten shrapnel tears through the air and several fragments slice into the drone's right rear propeller and wing. On the operator's screen in Kharkiv, the video feed glitches and the flight telemetry turns red. The drone lurches violently to the side, nearly spiraling into the river. "Stability loss! Manual override!" the operator screams, fighting the damaged aerodynamics to bring the drone back onto a combat heading. The Russian infantry on the bridge deck see the drone stumble and seize their chance. A squad of 6 soldiers from the escort detail rushes toward the ammo truck, leveling their AK-12 rifles and spraying 5.45mm rounds in a desperate wall of lead. They aren't aiming for a precision shot, they are trying to create a physical barrier of metal in the drone's path. Several rounds thud into the drone's reinforced plastic body, and an infantryman throws an RG-42 fragmentation grenade off the side of the bridge. It detonates just 10 feet below the drone, the massive pressure spike slamming into the airframe and pushing it 5 feet off course. The UJ-26 Beaver's predecessor, this small $650 FPV, is now battered, losing altitude and leaking battery fluid. To the Russian soldiers, it looks like the threat is neutralized. To the Ukrainian operator, it's a race against total system failure. He pushes the throttle to 110%, the damaged motors screaming as they fight the wind and the damage. He has 45 seconds of battery life left, and he is staring directly at the underbelly of a truck carrying 40 Grad rockets. The winter lull is over. The math of the strike has shifted from a stealth mission to a raw, high-speed struggle for survival. 03:05 a.m. The Russian commander of the Pantsir S1, realizing his missiles are failing due to the bridge's complex geometry and radar reflections, switches his system to full manual close-in weapon system mode. The twin 2A38M 30mm anti-aircraft guns begin to bark, spitting out a combined 5,000 rounds per minute. It is a wall of lead designed to shred anything within a mile. The high-explosive incendiary rounds stitch a line of fire across the bridge railings, sending showers of sparks and molten iron into the icy fog. To the Russian infantry, it looks like the drone is trapped. "It's falling! We've got it!" a soldier screams as he sees the 15-pound drone lurch from a previous shrapnel hit. But the Ukrainian operator is about to reveal his final tactical ace. The operator activates a swarm overload protocol. The last 3 remaining decoy drones, which had been circling at 500 feet, suddenly enter a vertical kamikaze dive directly toward the Pantsir S1's radar dish. This triggers a massive data processing spike in the Russian fire control computer, which is already struggling to sort through 300 phantom signatures from the earlier decoys. The Pantsir's automated turrets slew upward to engage the diving decoys, momentarily leaving the radar shadow beneath the bridge deck completely unguarded. At that exact millisecond, the primary FPV drone's onboard flight controller engages an AI-assisted inertial backup. For 3 critical seconds, the software takes total control of the damaged brushless motors, recalculating thrust 1,000 times per second to compensate for the shredded right propeller. The drone stops its death spiral and levels out just 10 feet above the river's surface. In the Kharkiv bunker, the operator's thermal display snaps back into focus. He sees the entire convoy paralyzed on the 30-foot-wide bridge. The lead vehicle is disabled by debris, and the rear vehicles are blocked by the narrow iron trusses. It is a $50 million bottleneck. He pushes the throttle to the stop, the motors screaming as the drone rises from the river mist like a phoenix. He is staring directly at the exposed fuel tanks and the 122mm rocket canisters of a Kamaz transport truck. The Russian soldiers, who a moment ago were cheering, are now frozen in a state of pure sub-zero terror. They see the battered 15-pound drone rising from beneath the bridge deck, its camera lens pointed directly at their cargo of Grad rockets. The Pantsir S-1 is still firing its 30mm cannons into the sky at the decoys, its barrels unable to depress low enough to hit a target coming from beneath the bridge's own floor. The winter lull has officially turned into a countdown to total vaporization. The math is settled. The only thing left is the boom. 3:09 a.m. The narrow 30-foot wide iron span is now a high explosive trap. With the lead vehicle disabled by shrapnel and the rear trucks pinned by the freezing fog and iron trusses, there is no room to maneuver. It is like trying to reverse a half-mile-long freight train down a narrow hallway while someone is throwing lit matches into the gas tank. The 15-pound drone impacts the underbelly of the Kamaz rocket transport at 110 miles per hour. The 10-pound shaped charge warhead performs with surgical, terrifying efficiency. It creates a hypersonic jet of molten copper that punches through the truck's steel floor at 25,000 feet per second. This jet doesn't just ignite the diesel fuel, it slices directly into the solid fuel propellant of 40 Grad rockets. The primary blast is instantly overtaken by a secondary detonation that can be felt 5 miles away. The 122mm rockets cook off in a disorganized 3,000-degree Fahrenheit frenzy, turning the bridge deck into a tunnel of fire. The shockwave, channeled by the iron trusses, travels the length of the convoy. The physics of the destruction are a masterclass in sympathetic detonation. The heat from the first truck ignites the 152mm artillery shells in the second, which in turn detonates the fuel tanker in the third. It is a domino effect of high explosive energy. The iron bridge, designed to support 60-ton tanks, begins to warp as the thermal stress exceeds its engineering limits by 400%. The structural steel loses its integrity, sagging into the river under the weight of the burning wreckage. The strategic fallout is absolute. This single $650 strike has achieved 3 critical goals. 1. Logistics paralysis. The specialized bridge repair materials for Crimea are now at the bottom of the Seym River. 2. Resource diversion. The Kremlin is forced to pull air defense units away from the Middle East to protect domestic supply lines, weakening their position in Tehran just as global tensions peak. 3. The ROI. Ukraine has traded the cost of a high-end smartphone for $50 million in Russian hardware and the combat effectiveness of an entire armored battalion. That is a 7 million % return on investment. The lesson for Putin is clear. Don't get your convoy stuck on a bridge when the guys from Kharkiv are working overtime. In -15-degree weather, Ukraine just provided the Russian army with the most expensive heater in history. What should be the next target for a $650 makeover? An oligarch's yacht or a Black Sea fuel terminal? Let us know in the comments below. Bye for now.